Hi, my dear friends. Hope all is well. My name is First Pan. I'm a web and mobile developer based in New York City. Today, welcome to my video series, Authentication for React and React Native with CodeShare Solutions. Today, we are working on video 1.10. For the web front end, we're going to render after we log in. We go to the let's say I start. After we log in, instead of seeing this static page for private page, we're going to pull this user, Aya stocks, username, and Gmail and email address from the backend to be rendered in here. So what we're going to do is, according to our agenda, first is at the backend, we're going to create a new route, which called private routes, to let the backend to process the request from the front end to get current users information. So this is what we're going to do. So this is our folder for the web, and under web we're going to first and foremost create a new, before we do the web, we need to go to the backend, the server side. We're going to touch under routes. We are going to have a file that can process our backend request. That will be routes private slash routes.js. And in this new routes file, we need to hook at the backend in the app.js file. So basically in here, what we need to do is going to say this. And instead of router, we're going to say private router will be routes, will be the file we just created. It will be private slash routes. And also in here, we need to add one line. Say this should be auth, and this will be private router. Okay, we can save this file, and then we need to start working on just newly created private routes file. So basically, we're going to have const of express equals to require express, and also we're going to have to const jwt equals to require JSON web token. And under here, we're going to say const user equals to require. We'll get the user of information from the model db mod, right? db models user model. Okay, so after that, we're going to have const router equals to express dot router, and we're gonna export module export equals to router, and then we need to put codes under this router. So it will be router dot get will be private, and we're gonna say kaba rec res. Okay, and under function, say let's token equals to rec dot headers, and we will have x access token. So before we continue, we need to go back to the user routes under the login. Post login, we need to do one more thing after we define the expiration of the token. So basically, under here, we need to say in the token expiration 30 seconds. After that, we need to say return resp dot set. This will be access token will be token. Okay, so resp set access token. Okay, so in here we can say because we already get the access token, we can do our thing under here. If it is not a token, if there's no token, we're gonna say return dot res dot status dot send, and then we're gonna say auth false. It's not successful because without token it will not success. So no token provided. Okay, so under here, so after the if statement, we can say JWT, hold on, it will be JWT dot verify, it will be token process env dot as secret or decoded if we're gonna return res status again of 500 dot send auth again failed, false, and the message here will be failed to authenticate. Okay, so under here it will be user dot find by ID decoded dot underscore ID password 0 per user. Okay, so user dot, so basically in here, if it is an error, if error, we will do something, and if it is not a user, and we're gonna do something, and otherwise we will return the successful user by sending the user information. So this status will be 200. Under the first error, we're gonna return res status 500 send. There is a problem to find a user. And the second one, what are we going to return? We're going to return res status send. There's no user. This status will be 404. And I think this is the backend code that we need to do. So basically it processes the request from the front end, meaning in our agenda, we finished the backend part, so we need to go back to the backend part. We need to go back to the front end to update our sign-in page first. So it will be src components in sign-in. So in the sign-in part, we need to add one more thing after we successfully sign in. So should you see, so this block is the code that we successfully signed in, and then we need to, after we get the successfully get the data, we need to implement the token here. So that's going to be const token equals to response dot headers. This x access token. And then we're gonna console log by saying this sign in token is blah blah blah. So it's going to be JSON stringify this token. And last but not least, the local storage is going to work here by set item token. Local storage set item token. Okay, so after that, we need to make sure our private page can actually pull and render per our agenda in here. So, but before that, we need to check our backend to see if it compiles. Looks so far it's still working. So now we can relax and start working on our private page. So we're gonna do some changes for the private page. First and foremost, in this state, we need to add one more current user. Now it's blank, and then we need to have a component did mount. So before we do anything, we know we're going to pull data from the backend using Axios HTTP request. So we need to import Axios from Axios. We'll use it later. So first and foremost, we want to make sure component did mount can console log. So let's say currently we logged out. So what we're gonna do is log in ARIA start ARIA. If we submit, okay, so we know component did mount was console log, meaning we can continue with our work here. So next, in component did mount, first we need to have an if statement here. If local storage dot get item, first we need to have this token, otherwise it won't work. Then we const this token equals to actually what right local storage get item token, and then we want to console log this token actually is obtained at the time when the private page was rendered. So we go here, console log. Oh, actually, okay. Console log component did mount. Instead of saying component did mount, we want to say How about this? Private page. Private, because this is a private page. Private component in mount and token and a plus JSON stringify token. If this console log works, then we know when the private page was rendered, the component mount captured the correct logged in user's token. So let's see how it works. So let's sign out. Say fresh. Okay. I actually want to see the backend as well. Server. Okay. Here. See. This time, John Snow. Login. Submit. You see, we successfully log in, but component in mount looks like have some issue because const token. Oh, we didn't make the request yet by using Axios private component. So the problem is we don't save this file. That's why it doesn't work. Save. Now let's try again. Backend. Okay. Jon Snow. Submit. You see, this console log is from the private page, meaning private page already know the sign-in user's token. And based on that, we make a follow-up request to the backend and to get the current user's username and email address. So what we can do here is start to use Axios. Axios will be get something, then and catch. So basically what we can get here is to do first and foremost the endpoint. So it will be auth private and header will be x access token, and below that, and then if there is response, Before we do anything, again, I want to console log what do we get for the current user information. So in here, we will be very straightforward by saying this is private page, how about current user will be all the current user information. Stringify response dot data, and the catch will say if it's ERR, we're gonna console log ER. Let's say at this stage, after we send out this follow-up Axios request to get the current user, can we console log it? We will find the answer in here. So looks like, so it's not happy with the header. So we know the problem is headers. Hope that solves the problem. So it has headers. So basically, it's this. Okay, so it compiles. And again, go to the backend. Let's say Aya Stark. If we submit, so it says it's not happy. So private page without token is there, but the problem is with the current user information. So headers. So auth private. Okay, so in the app here, this is auth private router. So in here, this is private. So it will be private. So in here should be auth and private. This should be correct. Headers x-axis token. So we find the bug is here. We say process env sec, and actually in the env file at the backend, it should be token sec. So we need to fix this. And save. And backend compiles, front end compiles. So we can, what we can do, sign out. Log in here as John Snow. If we submit, we log in successfully. At the same time, the console log in private page here, after sending follow-up get Axios request, we console log private page current user is John Snow username and johnsnow@gmail.com as the email address. So this is successful. Basically, we can continue with the rest of the code to actually change, update the state of current user so that we are able to render it on this private page. So after console log is successful, we're just going to do this, set state, say current user will be updated, so it's going to be response data here. And then we need to render this information in our render, under render on this private page. So in here we can say we just want to put it between this, oh, we logged out, between this private page and this logout button. So it will be another div. And this will be just h4, h4. This will be user name. It will be this state current user user name, and below that I put the same for the email address. So name and email. And okay, we log in one more time by saying, using the new code, backend. This time we're gonna say a new user. Who else? Mr. React. So we expect to see Mr. React's username and email after we logged in. Mr. React. So submit. Boom. That's exactly what we expect to see. The private page no longer render the static information. Now it's dynamic. We'll pull from the backend this currently logged in users, in this case, Mr. React's username and email address. And that's exactly what we set out to do for this video 1.10 web front end for the private page to be able to render current user information. And we have finished all 4 tasks on this agenda. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy it. In the next 2 videos, we are going back to the mobile side to do the same thing we have done just in the last 2 videos. We will implement the token for the 30-second token to protect the private page, and we will also further update the private page so that it stops rendering static information. Instead, it will pull the currently logged in user's username and password. And I look forward to it, and hope to see you guys soon. Bye.